Niajewase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Tumaki too.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show. Tonight, it's all about the IBC youth voting, and I am here, yours truly, Victoria Nkatha. I know you've seen my face in very many other situations, but today it's all about politics. It's all about voting, why your vote is important, why youth should register. I'm a youth myself, very young, very bubbly, and we're here to give you a lot of information regarding the ongoing voter registration, how you can go about it, why it's important, and much, much more. But I won't be doing it alone. I am joined by the handsome founder of the Young Kenyan Youths in Europe, and this is Mr. Henry Osewe. Hi, Henry. How are you?
Hello, Victoria. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Very soft spoken. I see. Very soft spoken. Is it just because you're with me, or is it because this is how you are generally?
That's how I am.
I was here thinking that you're gonna tell me no, it's because you're here and we're here and all that kind of thing. But it's okay. It's okay. I just get me by the way. But
It's okay.
but how is everything today, and what are your expectations for today's show?
Today, everything is very fine. I'm very excited to be here and to be hosted by you. And it's all about election, like you said, speaking to young people on issues in regards to the election, the registration, and
Yes.
all that. Yes, that's what I'm looking
Henry,
forward
but
to.
today I'm not hosting it. Today we're here together hosting. We're doing the hosting together. But
Okay.
don't worry, I will help steer the ship. I'll help steer the ship. But with that said, we're just gonna go straight into what is the current situation in Kenya. What is the period for those who may not know? Maybe there's somebody who is somewhere they don't know what's going on.
For the youths in diaspora who are Kenyans, yeah, it's an
Mhm.
electioneering period. And as you must have seen in one way or the other, the campaigns and the voting or registration is going on as we speak right now. And of course, the same applies to the diaspora community. And that's why we are here to also speak to people in diaspora to at least join their colleagues in Kenya and ensure that they participate in the upcoming election. Yes.
Mhm. And this is the thing. What exactly is the process of registration, especially for the people in the diaspora, people back home? What is the current status? What is happening currently in terms of voter registration?
Of course, as we all know that the election body, that's the IEBC, initially rolled out a registration uh,
Mhm.
uh, procedure or
Mhm.
rolled out an e-registration process, but they never attained the required number. So they decided
Mhm.
to give another shot to ensure that
Mhm.
we have a number of so many Kenyans registered to participate in the
Mhm.
election.
Mhm.
And we are happy that people in diaspora also had a chance, or we have a chance to also participate in
Mhm.
election this time around. And
Mhm.
it's something that we can't take for granted. And
Exactly.
the process involved in the electoral process majorly starts with the you registering to vote. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And during the
Mm-hmm.
registration, you have to, of course, show your valid ID.
Mm-hmm.
For diaspora people, it's about the passport, it's
Mm-hmm.
the valid Kenyan passport,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, we all know that constitution restricts on where someone can register in diaspora, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope we're gonna talk more about that as we proceed
Mm-hmm.
with the show.
We definitely are going to do that. We definitely are going to do that. But first and foremost, let's go into the role of the youth in voting, right? And I think we're going to spend a little bit of time here because I think there is a lot of misconception in regard to whether our votes count, the electoral process, and much more. I was in a space today and I could hear these young people speaking on Twitter, and they were saying that for them, they're not going to do anything about registration because number one, they don't feel like they're heard, they don't feel like it even matters. So, what's your thoughts on this whole thought process that goes into young people and them deciding not to vote because of these issues?
One thing I would want to speak with young people and inform them that
Hmm.
you have a voice, and your voice is your vote.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hmm.
However, if you fail to vote, it means that some of the policies that you might have
Hmm.
wanted to be part of
Hmm.
the system going forward will fail to pass, or the kind of
Hmm.
government that we wanted to have
Hmm.
in future will, of
Hmm.
course, never turn out to be the order of the day. So
Hmm.
I want to encourage all the youths to register and ensure that they vote because their vote counts.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also the vote gives you a power to decide on how the country is run.
Hmm.
Without that,
Hmm.
definitely you can't have a say in any of the political processes. And it's important
Hmm.
for us to participate in any kind of political process going on in our country
Hmm.
as young people
Hmm.
because we are the future.
Hmm. And
Yes,
this is the thing. One of the things that I was looking at is the demographics of the young people in Kenya. So the ages, and when we're talking about youth, we're discussing 18 to 34, right? And in
yes,
Kenya, it is stated that the 18 to 34 constitutes 25% of the Kenyan population. Of course, we have the 43% that is younger than 15 years. These are also the young people who will now become a whole huge demographic in the next coming years. And these are things that we need to discuss, yeah, especially your voice and your voice being being your vote and your vote being your voice, right? Um,
yes,
with a demographic of 25%, I mean, this is huge. And the 43% of the demographic being below 15 years. Now, imagine the demographic of those who are above 34 is less than.
yeah,
And we are thinking, and it's crazy because let's say from 34 to approximately 50
50.
years is
Yeah,
maybe 4%, I don't know. And then the rest is, the elderly. And it's crazy because such a huge force, 25% is a huge number. 18 years and above to 34, you as a youth, 25% of the demographic of the millions of people that live in Kenya is a huge number. That's a huge number. Now, think about all those
yeah,
millions of people who are in that demographic. You are eligible to vote. Like, that's number one. You're eligible to vote.
yeah.
You are able to have a say. If this whole 25% goes out and makes a decision, right? You can imagine the change that we
Yeah.
can be able to make. What do you think about this, Henry?
First, Victoria, I would want to say that according to demographics of 2019, right? Is it
Hmm.
2019?
Yeah.
It's stated that 29% of the Kenyan population, 29% of Kenyan population
Hmm.
are youths of
Hmm.
18 years and
Yeah,
above to 34,
exactly.
That's a
Hmm.
huge number out of over 47.8 million
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
And the moment that kind of population decides to participate in an elective process,
Hmm.
they definitely provide a swing vote,
Hmm.
And it is important
Actually.
for the young people to actively
Hmm.
participate in that
Hmm.
because of the reason that I stated before. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they can be able to decide on what government takes the order of the day. And
Mm-hmm.
we understand the young people are the ones who have been really affected by the bad choices that they've made before. Right?
Exactly.
As we speak now, not so many jobs are available for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not so many policies are working right for them.
Mm-hmm.
And through their active participation in the process, they can be able to change all these,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they form the
And I think,
majority.
mm-hmm.
Yes,
Go on.
yes. What's your
And
thought? Yeah,
one of the things that was very evident in one of the conversations that we are having is the fact that the future is not for the youth. I mean, the way they used to say, "Oh, we are the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of tomorrow. The leader is now. The tomorrow is now. We are the leaders of today. We are the voters of today. We now have that power that we've been craving for so long. Imagine when we were younger, where they were saying, "Oh, you're the leader of tomorrow. You're the leader of tomorrow." Da, 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 and all that kind of thing. Tomorrow is already here. We can't keep on
I'm
saying that
here
we're
with
the
that.
leaders of tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
And this
yes,
is the thing. Kenya is a very, very young population. Now imagine
yes.
the fact that so many of us usually sit down a lot and we complain over the fact that there's bad leadership and so on and so forth. We can't find young people. We need to also take up positions and much, much more, and we need to have a say and so on and so forth. That brings us into the discussion of why it's also important for us to have these individuals who are not only taking up positions and not only voting but having a firm stand, because having such a young um, population and,
Population.
and
Yes,
young average age. I mean, the average age should be in I think 21, if I'm not
roughly
if I'm not
22. Yeah,
wrong.
21. Yeah,
Kenya's average age should be approximately 21. I'll just quickly confirm 20.1 years old. Now, that
yes.
already tells you how many, not only future leaders we have, but current leaders who are just sitting down and just doing nothing about it, and even worsening it, that people are not going to register for voting. Are you registering for voting, Henry?
Definitely, yes, definitely. I already have my appointment. I booked my appointment at the embassy, and I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to going registering for the same and
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the August 9th,
Mm-hmm.
so that I also exercise my democratic right.
Why do you think it's important for you to do this?
I believe that my vote is my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if I fail to do that, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a choice but to go with the government that takes the order of the day, whether it favors some
Exactly.
of what I want or no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned before as well, if
Mm-hmm.
I vote, I have the
Mm-hmm.
power to decide on how countries should be run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Youths have the power to decide on how countries should be run through voting.
Mm-hmm.
And thirdly, every single vote counts. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the population of the youth can be able to swing the vote or to swing
Mm-hmm.
the election in
Mm-hmm.
whichever side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then also gives you a power to speak out how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the vote, you have the power to speak out on how you feel about
Mm-hmm.
everything else. That's the only way they can be able to express how you feel in regards to
Mm-hmm.
the government and the policies put in place. You know.
And that's very true. That's very,
Yes.
very true. Um, and one of the things that I feel is very, very important is to be able to have a say in what's going to happen. You see, one of the things that is very funny is when you don't register to vote, you don't vote, and then you are complaining. You will complain for 5, 10 years about what is happening. You're complaining. You do not have a right to complain if you don't go out there and exercise your vote, your right. Do not complain. Once
That's
you
very true.
realize
Yeah.
that something has happened, you don't have that right. You've literally misused your right of getting to
Yeah.
complain
That's true.
about
Yeah.
what has happened and the results, right? Because you didn't
Yeah.
go out there to try and make a difference. Somebody said it's usually 50 plus one, right? And that plus
Yeah.
one, you can contribute, you can contribute to that plus one. And this is the thing. Again, we go back to
Yeah.
the demographics of the youth, even out here in the diaspora. We
Yeah.
are the majority. We are the majority. We are the ones who are out here working, putting in the effort, and having these things. Most of us have come out here to study, right? And we want to
That's
go
perfect.
back to a place where we are able to say, this is my home. I am comfortable being able to go back to environments where we are able to do much more things and able to exercise the knowledge that we have
Yeah.
brought up from here, be able to be brain gains for our home and our country. But without that environment and without us being able to influence that environment, we cannot do anything. And therefore, even as you are in the diaspora, it is very important that you go to the nearest polling section session sorry, English,
Station.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Polling
exactly.
station. Yeah.
English has decided to go wherever it came from. But
You can speak Swahili, Victoria, no
yeah,
problem.
I it's even worse. But go to the
Uh,
nearest polling station, register to vote, because it is very, very important, especially in the political weather that we're in right now, in the political
yeah.
season that we're in right now. It's very uncertain, right? Everybody's like, oh, it might go like this, it might go like that, it might go like that. And there has never been this much uncertainty. And it's very important that you in your mind go out there, make it clear that this is what we want, this is what we want, even if it's voting for
Whoever.
Wanjigi. I
Yeah.
mean, it's even if it's
Whoever.
voting for whoever. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. This is the thing, it doesn't matter as long as you make that choice, make that decision, because you don't know, you might even vote for somebody and they might be the ones who are, you know the ones who will be able to vote. But before we go on, Henry, let's go into the comment section, and then I want to play a video by one of our sponsors before we
Okay.
even go into the comment section. So one of our sponsors today has been Tap Tap Send, who is very active in terms of pushing for a lot of things, especially for us in the diaspora to be able to send money back home. So with Tumakakitu, with Tap Tap Send, wherever you are, download the app. Sadly, it's not available for me wherever I am, but definitely as they grow, they will be available in very many places. So we're watching this video and then we'll go back to the comment section.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hustle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Tumakitu.
Tuma kitu, hata mkitaka kutuma kwangu, too many tafadhali, but make sure that you're using Tap Tap Send for sending that money, for sending that money. January is very harsh for some people. So
Yeah, I
some
know.
people
I know.
spend money in December. But we
January.
need
Yeah?
to get
In
to
Kenya,
the
in Kenya, they say in
January.
January. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, in January. So Tumakakitu to your family members in Kenya, and make sure to use Tap Tap Send. And with Tap Tap Send, actually for send money online transfer through your phone or the website at no fee. I mean, surely they need to come to wherever I am already. I'm tired of paying these fees. So it's
Yeah,
it's a lovely
I
thing.
use it too, by the way. I use TapTap
Use it,
every
and
time.
there's no fee.
Yeah. No, there's no fee.
Listen, I have fees that I need to pay every time. Every time I'm sending money, and it's very important for me to have no fees because we do a lot of transactions back and forth. Very, very important. But Henry, I'm gonna bring up the comments,
Okay.
and if you can take us through them, it will be lovely. So here you go.
Oh, Joy always said you are all looking good. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
BK Joe says Berlin watching. Thank you,
We are
Joe.
coming. Henry and
You're
I are coming
coming.
to Berlin. Henry and
Yeah,
I are coming to Berlin. I have convinced him that we are forcing ourselves to stay in Berlin for the longest time possible. So yes, we're coming
of
to Berlin.
course.
We're coming to Berlin.
Of course. Yeah. Uh,
Mm,
Agnes Polish says Stuttgart here. You're welcome,
yes.
Agnes.
See you in Berlin. See you in Berlin.
See you
First
in
week of
Berlin.
February. See you in Berlin.
Alan Koskei said the future is luminous. That's perfect.
Yes,
Yeah? It's
it is
indeed
already
luminous.
here. It is already here. And so some of us have it over here. Very
Yeah.
luminous.
Joy, once again, youth should know the future belongs to them. If they don't vote, the adults will decide for them. Guys, you
Yes.
see, we also have to advocate for the youth.
You're,
Please,
you're
adults
being
can't decide
told.
for us. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. We
it has
know.
to decide
We
for our future.
refuse. We
Yeah,
refuse. It's time for some people to sit down.
it's true. Very true. A Kenyan in France, the youth should be encouraged to vote and do it wisely. Thank you,
Very
Kenyans in
much yes.
France.
Mm-hmm. Very much yes.
Yeah. Joy, once again, Rafiki's a main. But was that meant for us, Joy?
I want to know what she meant as well.
Okay. What Chelsea? Hi, I'm here now. You're welcome, what
Thank you
Chelsea.
for joining.
Mary DiCaro, Henry, of course, every vote counts.
Mm-hmm.
Asante.
Very much yes. Very much
Yeah.
yes.
Mary, once again, call tuned in. Kitangela. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Joy, let's share on our platform. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all share. Let's all share the discussions on our platforms, please, for us
Mm-hmm.
to reach as many youths as we can. It's important for us.
Yes.
Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. I know you've always been doing it, and you will do it this time around too. We are banking our hopes on you people. So, Pamoja,
Go
Joy,
there.
can you tell us what you do? Okay. Okay. Should I answer that right now?
Yeah, yeah, please go on because the next one is about me, so I'll answer that one afterwards.
Okay, Joy. Basically, I work here in the transport logistics field, and I'm also financial investment and tax consultant, and I'm also the president of Young Kenyans in Europe. So I do a number of things, not one, not two, maybe three or four,
We have
or even
powerful
five.
people, powerful. We know people. Joy,
Yeah,
I know people. I know
yeah.
people. I know
So that's
people,
what I do,
Joy.
and I
Exactly.
also finalizing on my thesis right now. So I do a number of things. Thank you.
Now I'm tempted to say what I do, but since I've not been asked, I won't say. So because we share a lot of similarities actually, Henry and I. It's
Yeah,
crazy. But
yeah. We
Joy
just
always
realized that.
says
Yeah,
we share a lot of similarities, just so you all know. And I know
yeah.
people. So Joy says, congrats, Victoria, for the Africa Youth Awards. How are you using the opportunity to empower youth in voting and politics? Whew, that's a long one. Joy, you
Congratulations.
want me to
Yeah,
thank you. Joy
yeah,
wants me to start open up a Pandora box. But yes,
yeah,
youth Africa Youth Award. It's very important. Some of these things, even as we get recognized for them, it's very important to also use them for the right things. Recently I've been quite involved in terms whether knowingly or unknowingly, quite involved in terms of Marxist politics, and
yeah,
also now we are here, and been very also loud in terms of the spaces and letting people know that we really need to be involved because we do have a role to play in so many aspects, especially political aspects. And this is one of the points that we were supposed to discuss with Henry, in regard to our role in politics generally, and even vying for seats. But we're going to discuss that in a few minutes. But it's very, very important for us to be able to put out these things, and voice them out, and also participate as well, because it's not enough to tell us to vote and so on and so forth. On the other side, some other person said that we also need to show and teach people how to vote wisely as well, and check for policies.
yeah,
What is the politician saying, and what is on offer, what are the things that I can align with, rather than having people, let's say, vote because of a fellow tribesman, right? You don't want to vote because of fellow tribesman. You want to vote because somebody is introducing agendas, policies. And in as much as they say all politicians are liars and so on and so forth, we need to align ourselves with the one who you can relate to. And these are things that this is the wisely that we're being told. A lot of people say let's vote wisely, right? But a lot of people do not explain how we are supposed to vote wisely. And this is one of the aspects, being able to learn what are your rights, what are the rights that you have as a person, as a young person. How can you be able to exercise these rights? What are the policies that can be able to make proper change? What are the ideologies that these leaders have, and what do they subscribe to? What
Yeah.
values do they have? Do I share these same values? Is this somebody that I could potentially put myself in a situation that this is somebody that I would want to follow as they lead, right? And
Yeah.
they're gonna have the best interest of the country. What are the country's interests actually? What is the country's position? If you don't know where your country is at, you will not know the position. Some people do not know about, for instance, the Yala bodies, right? You don't know about
Yeah.
the Laikipia issues. You don't know, and you don't know what your leaders are doing. We don't hold our leaders accountable. These are the things that you need to have and understand, even as a young person, not aligning yourself to a leader because of, let's say, tribe or money and so on and so forth. This is how you vote wisely. But that is not going to happen if you do not register, right? Let's go back
Most
to the
definitely.
registration.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
There's a
Yeah.
lot to it. There's a whole bag to why you should vote. Imagine now being able, again, you cannot hold your leaders accountable if you did not vote, if you did not register to vote. You cannot. You don't have mouth to talk, as Nigerians say. You have no mouth to talk. You cannot come and raise your voice anyhow
Yeah, anyhow.
because you did not vote. You have no right to say da 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 because you did not go and vote. Therefore, you cannot hold your leaders accountable. You cannot
That's
hold your
true.
leaders accountable. And let's
Yeah.
say, for instance, a different leader is elected in, you still have the ability to hold them accountable because they still were voted in and you played a role in that. It might not be the leader that you wanted, but you still exercised your right. Okay, fine. You're the one who got in. What is your agenda? How are you able to exercise to put in this agenda and hold them accountable for that? Henry, go on before Tumali's to Nimali. I am passionate.
That's that's great. And like you said, the times are gone whereby people were voting people based on their tribal lines, based on ethnical lines, and all that stuff. Nowadays, people, like personally, I would vote for someone based on whatever they are presenting. What they stand for, like you mentioned earlier. And it's important for us to look at the manifesto of every politician. Look at them. Are they aligning to what you subscribe to? Yeah. Do
Mhm,
they mean well for the country? Are the policies really? Can they make a positive impact on your life and the life of the community around?
mhm,
So I would want to encourage the youth to vote wisely, like someone mentioned in the comment earlier. Yeah, it's not just a matter of picking someone because they've given you money, because
mhm,
maybe they're from your home or whatsoever. No, let's vote someone based on what they offer on the table. Can this person, whatever they are talking about, are they? Is it aligned towards ensuring that jobs get young people get jobs?
mhm,
Yeah, are
mhm,
the policies favorable enough for the people in diaspora as
mhm,
well? We also people in
mhm,
diaspora, and we need those policies that favor us over here. Yeah,
mhm,
and in the
mhm,
long run, can that contribute into our economy? Because at the end of
mhm,
the day, the moment the country has a better economy, it means
mhm,
that youths are getting employed, the health
mhm,
system is uh, sustainable enough, and
mhm,
everything else is working well. The health,
mhm,
everything else, please. Youths, as you go into voting, let's not just vote blindly. It's important for us
mhm,
that we make
mhm,
informed choices.
mhm.
Yes.
And those are the very very important things that we really need to put into consideration. And before we are at half the hour, we just need to go through more comments. I'm just going to quickly go through them. Mary DeCaro says, Henry, of course every vote counts. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. What Chelsea says, the more we register and vote diaspora, mostly this new chance given to us in Europe, it's going to be a new chance to have a say in the government in power. Very much yes. And again, once you vote, you can definitely hold them accountable. For the first time, ever since our country gained independence, as we talked about on Sunday, we are able to have a say in the diaspora, and we have to use that say. We really have to use that say because some of us have family back home. We have children back home. We also, some of us are not here permanently, right? And we are here to maybe study, some work, others were sent on missions here, and they have to go back and they still do have a say. We still do want the best for our country. And
Our
some,
country.
especially after living in some of these countries, we can see that we can make things work, right? We have the
Definitely.
ability to make
Yeah.
things work. Therefore, we want that for our home, we want that for our country, and that's very, very important, right? Um
Definitely.
Karaoke says the young Kenyans,
It's
the
about
young
people, eh?
Kenyans in Europe were locked in. Hey,
Yeah.
Henry went and collected his people. Jenny Amani Tawafuta. From what
So,
Jikuza.
pamoja tunajikuza. Yeah, that's Swahili.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it means together we grow. Or rather we
At least you know
yes.
Swahili. That's fair enough.
Yes, I do. Henry, I do know Swahili very well. Usinione kama
Okay.
hapa mi ni kababi fulani, mi si
Oh,
kababi
now
fulani.
I believe you now.
Really, I'm that person. I'm that person. So Muru says most are young people, most youths or young people think that voting is a thing of the older generation. Yes, very much
Yeah.
yes. They need
Yeah.
proper voter education to know the importance of voting. Exactly. And that's why
That's
we're
true.
here and having these
Yeah.
sessions to be able to, rally our youth, to be able to also explain to our youth. Again, we ran our demographics earlier on and we said Kenya, it consists of 25%. 25, and Henry corrected me and said 29.
29.
29% of the population in Kenya is youth. That means ages 18 to 34, while 43%, and probably more now, is
More. Yeah.
below. So
Yeah.
you can
15 and
imagine
below.
what percentage is on the other side.
Yeah.
Just imagine what percentage. You do the math. If almost 30% plus 43% is young people, you do the math to the people who are between 34 and 100 plus plus. You do the math.
And
Now,
and but
who
then
holds most power?
but the boy
Who holds
Victoria,
most power?
sorry, the 15 years and below are up to 45, 6 now.
Imagine. Now, this is
Yeah.
crazy. This is almost half the population is below 15, right?
Yeah.
Or let's even say below 18. Let's just say below 18. Somewhere to below 18
Yeah.
to make it maybe sound better. Let's say 46%, and then you have 29%. Can somebody, kuna mtu wa mathematic, tafadhali, aniambie these two combined, what
Wale wa
percentage they have?
hesabu. It's
Mtu wa mathematic, tafadhali.
wale
What
wa hesabu,
percentage
eh?
is this combined?
Yeah.
Because I'm talking and thinking and reading and all that. I cannot do mathematics right now. So 29% plus 46%. Let's even say 40, to some to 45, to a party to 45.
5, yeah. Plus 30.
And imagine, begin to imagine that we are talking almost almost 80% of the
Almost
country's
80%.
population. Almost 80% of the country's population is
It's
young
youthful.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost 80% of the country's population. The average age of Kenya is 20.1%. What are we doing as young people? As in the fact that we are getting leaders in that are not who we want to get in is absurd. Is absurd because we're refusing to vote. Most of us are refusing to vote because number one, we think it's an older generation thing. Number two,
Yeah.
because we think our votes do not count. Do you understand the power that you hold? 20 as a part of 25, 29%. Aki Henry atanichapa sasa. Part of 29% of the population of Kenya, not of the population of Nairobi, not of the population of Kisumu, not of the population of Nakuru or Turkana, the entire population of Kenya, 25%. Do the calculation. Now you do the math,
So,
and then we have the 45% that is below 18. Now imagine what this percentage keeps on pushing towards youth when they're turning over 18. Imagine that. And imagine the power that we hold if we mobilize all these people, rally up the youth to make them vote. Now imagine even the youth that are abroad, let's say for them who are studying. Imagine what we can do if we mobilize all these young people to go in and put in their
And
votes.
put that. That's
Imagine
true.
the things that we can do, right? And this is why it's a
So,
very, very important, very, very important, super important, as in you do not understand. You have so much
so
power.
they say
Use
that
your
we have
power.
the numbers, yeah? They say that we have the
We have
numbers.
the
So,
numbers.
yeah.
We definitely have the numbers. I mean, we have the numbers, and it's very, very important. Um, Njoki says, Pamoja to Ajikuza. These are Henry's people. These,
I have a large community of people I
I love
represent,
it.
so don't
So
forget that.
Henry's people. I can see them. I can see them.
Uh,
Career says, Vijana sauti yetu ni kura yenu. Yes, sauti yenu ni kura yenu. Yes, very much yes. Berlin ama London, tuende kwa wingi.
Procedure.
Oh,
I heard,
career, by the way, we are going to Berlin. I have convinced Henry that we are all spending the weekend in Berlin. This was career
okay.
that I was telling you about, Henry. So good thing he
Mhm.
brought himself here because I'll
Oh,
publicly put
okay.
him on the
Okay.
spot. So, so
Berlin,
yes.
Berlin procedure. Correct. Berlin procedure.
Tasija, the
Mm.
first week of February, first week of February, Tasija. You see how we're mobilizing, we're rallying the youth. We are all going to register to vote, definitely,
Yeah.
and we will be back in Berlin again in August. Tonight, not to vote. We are voting. We must vote.
Kabisa. Kabisa. Yeah.
Leonard says spot on, Victoria. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, I find the young people from Europe better than here in Kenya. I was listening to the radio this morning. I couldn't believe it's sad. They won't vote and they will never vote. No, no, they will vote. Not never. They will see us vote and will vote
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
numbers
they
and
do
they will
that.
also vote. We are also running these rallying for the youth, even in Kenya. It's not only in the diaspora. We're also engaging the youth in Kenya, and we're trying to make them understand there's no better time. There's really no
Hmm.
better time to actually exercise your
Do
vote.
that.
Again, as we were stating with Henry, this election is one of the most tight elections I think we've ever had. And it's important that we go out there and we exercise our votes. It doesn't even matter. Again, it doesn't matter who you're voting for, as long as you're also thinking these are the policies, the things that the factors that we mentioned before. What is the manifesto? Do I align with this? Do I go with this? I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many aspects that if you're doing that, then it doesn't even matter who you're voting for, as long as the person makes sense to you and they are, you can align yourself with their manifesto. It's these things are very important. So as long as you're doing that, then go out there and make your vote count. 50 to December 50 plus one. We've just realized that we are 80% of the population, man, as in go. You're powerful and you have a voice, you have a say.
Just to add on
In
something,
us
yeah. Oh, okay.
go
Okay.
oh, I
Just
was just
something
reading the
to.
last comment.
Okay. Just
And
go
just
ahead.
go on
Briefly.
and then just take
Okay.
it
It's
from there.
about. I was sharing with some young people yesterday. Yeah?
Mm-hmm,
We were talking about the election, and they were like
mm-hmm,
they feel let down
mm-hmm,
by the leaders they elected last time, and that
mm-hmm,
has discouraged them from voting this time around. I'm like, what
mm-hmm,
do you mean by that? Because
mm-hmm.
if you go and vote, of course, you take them out of power and uh,
Yeah.
take over the place by
Mm-hmm,
yourself, or at least vote for someone who will be able to do something
mm-hmm,
for you. If you sit home and
mm-hmm,
wait, then of course they'll go back again, and the same
mm-hmm,
story will continue. So it's up to
mm-hmm,
you to want to
mm-hmm,
change it. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
otherwise, if you let it be like that, then you're gonna stay like that, and you better close your mouth and not say anything after.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So
And
it's
that's the
important
thing.
for us to go and vote and just
Mm-hmm,
exercise the right that we have of voting.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's the thing. You don't vote, don't talk. Don't vote, don't talk. Vote, trust me, I will oh Lord knows I will talk. I will talk, I will argue, I will hold them accountable. If it's writing emails, shouting, going to school, I will talk. And if I voted you in and you're not doing your part, I will talk. I must talk. I will yeah. Nachas, I know I like talking. Joy always says in Austria we have a very young president. It's possible. Yes, it is very
Yeah,
possible.
yeah,
Very, very possible. Mary DeCaro says, thanks, Victoria and Henry, for encouraging the Kenyan youth. As in, it's part, thank you, Mike. It's part of our work.
you're
He's
welcome.
the leader of the young Kenyans the young Kenyans in Europe. He does not have a choice.
Yeah,
I am other things, therefore I don't have choice. I don't really have, but it's also something we're passionate about. Something
that's
that we're
true.
very,
Yeah,
very passionate about. But
yeah.
before we continue, Henry, I see that we have a few other points that we need to get through before we go off. Um,
Okay,
and we have roughly 20 minutes remaining. So what we're going to do is that we're going to see what Chibukati has to say, and then we're going to run our sponsor again. And then after that, we're going to go through the final points that we have, because we have, I think we have three points remaining, if I'm not wrong. We have to deal with the role of the youth in politics generally, which we dealt about. What can we do to rally more youth? And we also will be giving a lot of details in regard to the polling stations in diaspora. We're going to roughly run through all of them just to give you an idea of where each and every one is. So please pick a pen and paper as we're listening to Chebukati, because for your destination, wherever you are in the world, you need to note it down, so that you know very well. We were already introduced to Germany and Berlin and London by career, but we're also going to go through all the aspects so that all in diaspora know where their polling stations are, because it's very, very important. Before we go, imagine how we support the government with the money sent back home by diasporans. So we need to be heard and let our voices be the loudest when things go wrong. Very much yes, but that will not happen if you don't go and register to vote. So we will be back with where you can vote and so on. So let's listen to Chebukati for a Chebukati. Hey, you know what? I need water. Go.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Tumakitu.
Dear Kenyans, my name is Wafula Chebukati, Chairman IBC. Today, the 17th of January 2022 marks the beginning of the second and final phase of the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise in preparation for the 9th of August 2022 general elections. The registration will run for the next 21 days and close on the 6th of February 2022 in all the 1,450 county assembly wards across the country, institutions of higher learning, and Huduma centers countrywide. Dear Kenyans, we have an opportunity to register as voters, transfer registration, and change particulars of registration. I wish to appeal to Kenyans who are of the age of 18 years and have national identity cards to turn up in large numbers and take this opportunity to register. IBC
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Tumakitu.
As you heard, Henry, my finger slipped a little bit. As you heard, the polling stations are, sorry, hey, at the polling stations, Jesus, the registration, the registration stations are open. You can also get to change your where you'll be doing your votes. So this is very much active right now. And for the diasporans, we will be doing ours from the 21st of January. And as before we finish the show, we'll be able to give you the names of the polling station. Now, Henry, one of the things that I would like to ask is, what do you think that we can do more? How can we act more to be able to rally more youth to register and vote?
Okay, for us to facilitate, to ensure that at least the information gets down there to every Kenyan in diaspora, first I would want to encourage everyone, the youths, our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, to share on their platforms. I believe we have a number of organizations operating here in Europe, and at least each has a number of members. So if every member has the information and distribute it to other friends and relatives, that's one way that will help ensure that we reach as many people as we can. Yeah. Other than that one, it's about we people volunteering to help mobilize our friends, our relatives to ensure that they go and register to vote. Remember that it's an exercise that happens once. Yeah. For instance, this one is scheduled for 21st to 4th of February, 21st of January to 4th of February, and 21st is like 2 days from now. We are almost running out of time. So I would want to encourage everyone to voluntarily share the information with the Kenyans in diaspora and ensure that at least each and every Kenyan has the information and they are able to act. It's a democratic right that you have to exercise. And we are happy that this time we have a chance to vote from these other sides. It's something that has never happened before. So let's grab the opportunity, give our best. Let's go out there in numbers, show the people at home that we can be able to do it from this end too. And let's do it, man. Let's do it. Among other things, we can also be able to host these frequent talk shows, Victoria, that's a challenge to you. Bring us on talk shows so that young people get to hear more about the voting. Let's educate the people on the importance of voting. And then from here, they'll be able to grab the information and act, among many other ways, rather than just speaking to your relatives and families. Yeah. And one important thing that we should bank on or do a lot on is information, passing the information, and also just educating the young people or the Kenyans in diaspora on the importance of voting. I'm sure most of them rarely vote. So it's a new exercise for them. They feel like, whatever, whether they vote or they don't, it doesn't matter. It matters a lot. Yeah?
Very true.
Like someone said in the comment that we are among the largest remitters in terms of the money sent back home. The diaspora community are the second largest, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we contribute a lot to our economy, and it'd be important for us to get to know how the funds are spent. Yeah. So it's important for us to actively participate and get to know what's really happening back home. Yes.
That's true. I can see Matasio Kago says, Sister Victoria, Kenya wa Utrecht wanataka kuongea na huyo Chebukati. How can you be reached? There are many. One, come to Berlin. Come to Berlin. Come to Berlin from the 21st. For some of us who are going the first week of February, I said I'm gonna rally for everybody to go to Berlin and London. I will rally. We'll get everyone to go and register. But if you want to reach anything concerning the IBC, I don't promise it will be him. Come to Berlin. Come to Berlin. That's one way. That's one way, definitely. And Matesha goes on and says, "Talk shows the community. Henry Swalini, is Kenya ready for us? Very much, yes. Actually, yes, they are ready. I can definitely say that they are very, very ready. And are you ready for Kenya? Are you ready for Kenya, Matesha?
Yeah, Victoria, things have really changed. Maybe back then the government was not that keen on the diaspora community.
Yeah.
But of late, you realize that even now they can be able to, IBC can be able to come here and organize the voting over here, the registration and all that stuff. It means that Kenya is ready for us. And we are ready for them too. We are ready for Kenya as well. So, yes.
If you can also see down in the car thing that is moving, the ticker, the car thing that is moving, you can see that you can book a time to register at Kenya at Kenya Embassy Berlin, Germany in person via the link below. And I think for most people in Europe, the closest place is Berlin. So in these few days that we are able to go, please take a trip to Berlin, and I'm sure at the end of the at, at the end of at the end of the I'm laughing because of this comment right here. Kabla Chebukati ajaga tukujibali last time so no, this time I'm not sure about last time, but because I wasn't there. But yeah, I think Chebukati has already spoken. He spoke on the video and said that you should go. So come to Berlin and we'll see what happens because for sure there are many of us who are also traveling to Berlin. On a serious note, there are very many of us who are going to Berlin because we definitely want to be heard. We definitely want to be heard. And now, before time runs out on us, we have 10 minutes going, and there's some points that I really need to make sure. So hopefully you already got your pen and paper, because there's some information that we want to relay here. And I'll quickly share my screen actually, just to let y'all see this. You can see my screen, Henry?
Yeah, I can see a screen.
Yes. So these are the things. So we're going to start with this one over here. We're going to start with this one over here. And we're going to see the criteria for voting. So I'm going to zoom in so that you can clearly see what this is. So this is from the IEBC, and what it states is that number one criteria to was used to map registration centers. The Commission has mapped registration centers in diaspora based on the following parameters: presence of a Kenyan mission, which is the embassy, number of registered citizens in the Kenyan commissions in host with Kenyan commissions in host countries, political environment in host governments, which should be conducive, stable, and predictable. Financial stability to support logistically operational and administrative costs of carrying out such an activity. So that's just the pointers out there. Now, this is what is very, very important for you, especially as you are in Europe, and wherever you are. I'm sure there are a lot of other people who are watching this as well. So the voter registration center is mapped in the diaspora. Mind you, this is the very first time this thing is happening. And one of the things is that we've received so many questions in regard to why isn't it here? Why is it there? Why isn't it here? Right? And one of the things that you should know is that this is very, very new, and as anything that is happening for the first time, you want to do it in the best way possible, but at the same time there's bound to be not enough resources, or some way somehow things will not happen the way you desired. So be patient and go to the place, if to be honest, go to the place where it's closest to you, um, and exercise your right. So, number one, we have Uganda, and this is in Kampala. So get in touch with the people there. Tanzania, you have two stations actually. You have Dar es Salaam and you have Arusha. In Rwanda, you have Kigali. Burundi, you have Bujumbura. South Africa, you have Pretoria. South Sudan, you have Juba. United States of America, you actually have three. You have Washington. Hey, Jesus. Washington D.C., New York, and Los Angeles. In the United Kingdom, you have London. United Arab Emirates, you have Abu Dhabi and Dubai. In Qatar, you have Doha. Remember, for the UK and Germany, this is EU, very EU specific. So Germany, you have Berlin, and Canada, you have Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. So Europeans, please, 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 in whichever place that you can go to, please go there. Now, also another important information is what are the requirements for registration as a voter. If you're residing outside Kenya, obviously, and you want to register for voting, you have to have a valid Kenyan passport or a national identity card for citizens residing within the East African community. So the ID is specifically for those Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, right? But for us, we need to have valid Kenyan passports. So you must be of the ages 18 and above. And this was one of the things that we were discussing in terms of the power of the youth, right? You must present your identification document to the registration officer stationed at the designated registration center. So this you must carry with you to Berlin. Henry, it's not enough for you to go to Berlin from Cologne without your ID. Carry it, carry it with you.
Definitely, yeah, I will.
Carry it with you. Take it with you. You must manually fill Form J, being an application form for registration of Kenyan citizens residing outside Kenya upon arrival at the registration center. So again, this is not something that you'll find online or whatever. This is something that you will register and fill in at the registration center. You also should allow or must allow that your biometrics and biographic data will be taken during the registration. Remember, everything has moved to becoming very, very digital now. It's no longer analog, as they like to say, as it was before. So biometric data is very, very important because there's no longer voters' cards and so on. So your biometrics data is what will be able to help you do the voting and so on and so forth. So another thing is that the voter registration in the diaspora in all these stations that we have mentioned is open, or rather scheduled to start from the 21st uh, of January. As Henry also mentioned, this is just in a couple of days. So make sure, please, that you have registered on the website that is currently running as a banner down there. Go in, book your time slot. I've already booked mine as well. And this will go on for 15 days, which means that this will be only up until the 4th of February. Very, very important. 4th of February is when this exercise ends. And the conduct of this exercise is subject to COVID protocols and restrictions in the host countries. Remember, this is also a huge issue. So make sure, even for those who are traveling to Berlin or London or wherever you're traveling to, you know that these you know the restrictions of the country, you know the restrictions of Berlin, the restrictions of London, and the country in general, because there's some states that are different, even in Germany have different rules. So make sure that you are very well aware of these restrictions there, and you can be able to take the necessary precautions. Time zones managed during the voter registration. This is also a very important question. Henry, if you can mute your mic, please. Sorry. And this was also something that was very, very important in terms of people asking about how to do it on weekends, whether it will be available on weekends due to travel factors and people getting off work. So as you can see, that it will still be available from the 21st until the 4th, and there are 2 weekends in there, and the commission has also made arrangements for continued voter registration exercise during the weekends, and office hours will be available for the embassies in the host country. So and this is why it's very important to go in and book your time slot, so that even if it's on a weekend, then you are also sure that they will be able to host you on the weekend once you register. So everything else is sort of a repetition of the same. And currently we can only vote in the presidential election and referenda only. And again, like, this is happening for the first time, so please be patient with the electoral board. And then also another important thing to note is you go into website www.ibc.or.ke and download an application for accreditation. That's also very, very important. So, but feel free to contact Henry or myself or Madam Joy Awe or Career if you have any questions in regard to this. And with that said, I'm going to quickly stop sharing my screen, and then we're going to go into some of the comments that have come in, because I know that they are quite a few. Matasio says, last vote IBC, lied and went to France. I think that's one of the things that we need to also have some confidence to the system, and also allow the fact that things cannot always work 100%, right? And we have to be patient with that. And these are things that are not in full effect, and we also have to have trust in the system. So with that said, I would definitely challenge you to come to Berlin, and let's see. I mean, we're so many people who are going, and it would be really, really nice for you to come in and also be able to challenge these questions in reality, in face to face with the officials that will be there as well. So Kenyans in Paris says, hope more centers will be open for diasporans in Europe in the future. That is definitely one of the things that most of us hope for, especially in the Scandinavia. I mean, at least I don't have to go all the way And then, even in the southern parts and in the eastern areas, I mean, you can imagine somebody from Russia has to travel all the way to Germany, right? Because we also have Kenyans in Russia. We have a couple of friends of mine from Hungary are going to travel all the way to Berlin. So these are things that we definitely, again, like I said, have patience, guys. Please have patience. Tasio Lukiani Eli says, Matasio, and in Kenya Kweli, we are voting to, we are not forcing things in 2022. Very much, yes. Mary DeCaro says, congratulations, both. My passion to vote was almost 50 years ago. Please go, even now, let that passion come up again. Matasio says, unataka nikuprovia mimi in Kenya. I think that was to Ellie. Yes, prove that you're Kenyan. Show up and then register to vote. Licia says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you as well. I'm quickly running through them because we are past our time. Lillian says, yes, Qatar, we're ready to vote in the right president to be. Thank you for the update and the instructions. You're very much welcome. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to let us know. Mary says, good night. Good night to you, Ma
Good
Mary.
night to you.
And
Yeah.
then IBC should address Kenyans in the diaspora SAP before we start to travel. Imagine someone coming from Moscow to Berlin. Matasio, they have addressed a lot of things. There have been meetings circulating for a very, very long period of time. Even yesterday, Henry, was it yesterday that we had a meeting as well with the IBC officials? We've had meetings with the IBC officials. We've had meetings with the embassies as well, different embassies. So this is not a process that just started yesterday or today. These are things that have been happening. A lot of questions have been asked. So again, please get in touch with me. Then I can be able to share when these meetings are conducted as well. I can also be able to connect you to some of the people who are organizing these meetings and also some officials who are there. Henry and myself are very, very present there as well, very active as well. So don't hesitate to get in touch because we can be able to bring you in when all these meetings are going around, and everybody is definitely empowered and what is it called when you are trying to push somebody, and it's not enticing or rallying, there's a word for it. Encouraged, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
encouraged, yes, encouraged to join these meetings and be part and parcel of it because everybody's opinions it does definitely count. So we've had several meetings and several sessions, and get in touch even with Joy. She's been very fundamental in making this happen actually. So please get in touch with her, and if you have any further questions, Henry and I are willing to definitely, if we can't answer it, we know people who will be able to answer. Mo says, well done, you both. Thank you very much. Great for hosting. Thank you very much, Mo.
Thank you.
It's great hosting. Thank you very much, Mo. That said, everybody, remember tap send. Remember parting shots, Henry, before we wrap it up.
Okay, I do not have much to say, but I believe the person who was asking about Chebukati talking fast, I believe he's a young person, he or she. He can be able to join my organization, and from there it will be a sure bet because they are all going to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And as I end the session, or as we are about to go offline, just want to thank you all for joining today's discussion. It was great having you on board, and of course, we've learned from one another. We look forward to having more of such like discussions. And finally, youths, still to you. No one else will vote in the interest of young people except
Mm-hmm.
young people.
Exactly.
Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much yes, very much yes. And with that said, Matasio says that he's old, he's 47. Matasio, the youth team is not is not directed towards you. But at the end of the day, voting is still very important. And with that said, even for us, we were only going to take the youth section because we are very, very young. However, tomorrow there will be another session where they will be discussing about other teams, and tomorrow will be a women discussion, and on Thursday there will also be another discussion of so we every team member, every individual is represented in this whole session. So please stay tuned. Do follow the pages, African Women in Europe. Follow also the Kenyan Diaspora Union of organizations in Europe. That is exactly some of the people. You'll see the organizations, the very many organizations that have been able to arrange all of this very much well. So you've seen the Kenyan Youth Organization, the Kenyan hey, the young
Let me
Kenyan
let me let me
Kenyans in
let me
Europe,
let me let me
the
help
young
you,
Kenyans
Victoria.
in
Let me
Europe,
help you.
the young Kenyans in Europe. I keep on getting it
Yes.
wrong, but the young
Yeah.
Kenyans in Europe. God,
Yeah.
it is you that is confusing me, Henry. But but you have Responding to Life, you have African Women in Europe, you have Kenyans in France, Kifwa Association, you have Kenyans in Netherlands, you have Kisoscone, you have so many organizations that are able to join together and do this. And before we go, I will do my duty to mention them all because I know that I'll be killed if I don't. So you have Responding to Life, which is what I do in terms of matters mental health, and Kenyans here in Europe and at home. You have Kenyans United Berlin, Brandenburg. You have the Kenya Swiss connection. You have the young Kenyan Kenyans in Europe. He's gonna kill me. You have AfroNews.de. You have Tap Tap Send. You have Kenyans in France, Umbrella Association, and then you have the Rafiki's Main, and then you have African Women in Diaspora SACO. So you have very many organizations that are have come together to do all this. And the last bit, I'm just gonna read the last. I promise we are leaving. Um, Matasi says, "Yes, I did watch the video from our ambassador in Berlin. Honestly, I was impressed, but once bitten, twice afraid. I'll get personally in touch with you, Victoria. Please do, please
Okay.
do. We have to remove these fears." Okelo says, "Thanks for the update and instructions. How can I spend to travel to vote for election that is already?" Huh. You see, those are the things that we addressed in the beginning. We said no, no, no,
We are
no,
not
no, no,
we are not sure
no.
about that. Yeah. You
Exactly.
can't
Those are
say
those
that.
are those
Yeah.
are those are those are conspiracy theories that we want to shut down because we have the power now. We have the power to be able to make our vote. And this is the thing. Once the margin is big, I mean, let's say you go vote and people can see there's no way. Statistics are statistics and numbers are numbers, and there's no way to go around that, right? So that's a whole different discussion, and
Yeah.
that we should be able that we should that we should be able to have a discussion on. Henry and I will have a discussion on that one day, and we need to fix the nation. We need to fix the nation. So
We
my
definitely
parting
need to.
shot is
Yeah.
don't forget to follow the organizations. Don't forget to follow the Kenyan Diaspora Union of Organization. So that will be able. No. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not dismissing it, but as your Victoria, don't dismiss the guy's theory. No, I'm not dismissing it. It's like I said, it is something that we definitely need to discuss. However, on a very separate conversation because there are very many things, and like we stated in the beginning, we need to be the change that we want to see. It is not enough to have lose or to lose hope in our system. We need to be able to be the change that we want to see, and the only way we can be that change is to completely constantly keep on pushing. We need to keep on pushing, right? We constantly
Yeah.
need to keep on pushing, otherwise we are never gonna see that change. Matasio, don't focus on the fact that I said conspiracy. That's not the point. The point is we constantly need to keep on pushing. And that's the thing. It's not we cannot lose hope. We really cannot lose hope because imagine if Henry loses hope, if I lose hope, if you lose hope, if Okello loses hope, if Alex loses hope, if Likuyani loses hope, if Joy loses hope, then who will be there to actually impact the change that we want to see? Nobody. So make that travel, go in, register, and vote. It is very, very important because then we will have a say. We cannot keep on complaining if we do not take action. We cannot keep on saying that there's no hope when we ourselves are not pushing for it. We cannot hold anyone accountable if we do not go out and register to vote. We cannot have a say if that's not done. And that is the point. So, with that said, about fixed elections, we will have that discussion on the side. However, the most important thing right now is the fact that if we want to implement change, we need to also act rather than
Yeah.
say, right? We need to all gather, go, and because then we have the statistics. We are required to go and say, we came in these numbers, we voted like this, what happened? Then we can be able to hold them accountable. But if not, we won't be able to do so. We really wouldn't. And that's facts. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you,
So
Joey. I agree with you, Victoria.
Allah, minute.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're ending
No,
this
no,
show because now,
Victoria.
Joy.
Of course. No. That was just
No,
a
no, it's
miss.
okay. I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mm.
yeah. So we are not sure about that. Yeah. Just to address the person who gave the comment, we are not very sure
Mhm,
about that. So let's just go out and vote because we believe that
mhm,
our votes will count.
mhm.
Yeah. We believe
Yeah,
so. That's why we
there
are
are a lot of
hosting this.
comments. If I continue reading the comments,
Yeah.
we will not go. We will not go. With that said, guys, we can continue this conversation. Joy, I believe we will be able to have another session where Henry and I will come in and we'll take in these comments, and also we'll be able to have a discussion in regard to the political atmosphere and the political system and much more, and how we can be able to impact not only from the youth aspect but also from the general aspect. So these are things that I would love to have a discussion on. But for now, we need to go to Berlin. We need to go to Berlin and to London. We're going to Berlin. Henry and I are going to Berlin the first week of February. So if you do want to make this a great visit, so come in, and we can be able to make it a whole group that we take a trip to
Yeah.
Berlin and also just go have fun, meet fellow Kenyans, and so on and so forth while we do our duty and register to vote. With that said, I want to bid you good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Please do not hesitate to get in touch with us if anything. And with that said, I will bid you farewell with Tap Tap Send, who has been our sponsor for tonight, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Tumakitu.